You know, I really wasn't planning on filming a video today because I have a day off from the bane of my existence, and I kind of just planned on spending the day laying in my bed and being lazy until I questioned the reason why I'm here and then start to freak out and force myself to do something out of a crippling fear that I am wasting my life away. I'm not upset to be right here, okay? If I truly didn't want to do this video, I wouldn't. It's just that I'm kind of ashamed.
They ask you how you are.
I had a Goodreads reading goal of 75 books and I've read 66.
They would never understand.
Last year, I was reading book after book, almost reached 100, thriving. This year, striving for an ounce of motivation to complete just one a month. And it's funny because people think I haven't done wrap-ups because I'm lazy and inconsistent. But I'll have you know that, baby, I have nothing to say. Hello my lovelies, it's me Erin from New Wrap Up for today, and I only read one thing this month, to be honest, oopsie, but it is the back of this box of cereal. Great read, I love my Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I will say I was kind of let down at the part when I learned that one serving is 170 calories, but hey, what can you do? I have read a handful of books that will allow me to kind of sort of do this video, so let's get started. Question 1. The best book you've read so far in the year 2020. For me, this has to be Vicious by L.J. Shun. Honestly, this book did not have any competition for the spot, but not for the right reasons. I have literally mainly reread books this year, so who else was it gonna be? Nevertheless, my love for this book is infinite, which is surprising considering the fact that the first time I read it, I only gave it like 3 stars. And it wasn't until the second time I read it that I realized with real eyes the real lies I was telling myself the first time around. So the second time really is the charm, I guess. Question 2. The best sequel you have read so far in 2020. For me, it has to be The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. This is actually kind of funny to me because I am pretty sure last year my favorite sequel was The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson, which is part of the same series. I think that this is kind of cute because last year my answer was actually The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson. So, adorable. Truly, I'm such a cute person. Couldn't even finish that lie. I don't really like when I dwell on this book and or the series because I do talk about the Truly Devious series in literally every other video. I'm tired of hearing myself talk about it. But then again, I hate hearing myself talk in general, so who cares? However, at this point, I do think that Maureen Johnson could literally put out anything and I would stand it.
Oh! Oh! You is flexible. Boy, you do not. Oh! Oh my God.
Question 3. A new release that you haven't read yet, but want to. My obvious go-to answer that some of y'all may be wondering about, because I honestly think that you may have subscribed to me because I reviewed previous books in the series, but it is Imagine Me by Tahereh Mafi. I just love that I haven't read this book yet, and I already sound so disappointed mentioning it. Honestly, for so long, I imagined the ending for Warnet. Because, like, yeah, we got an ending, but it was also very loose end. Like, we could take it and run with it and do whatever we want. I never imagined that it would compare to the ending that Tahereh Mafi gave me. And I was right, because I know for a fact that whatever ending Tahereh Mafi gave me, it's probably not good. And I am not going off of nothing when I'm saying that. I am going off the fact that I know people who have stanned that series for years and they literally hate the end, and I trust their opinions, so I'm kind of scared. But like at the same time, I'm kidding. I mean, am I? I don't know yet, but I'm afraid to find out. Although, let me just say that my standards, they're on the floor. Can you? They're with my dog. Hi. I usually keep them like right here. Can you see me? Oh my God. Because you see, if you keep your standards very low, you can never be disappointed. And yet somehow Tahereh Mafi reached the floor. Can you, the floor with my puppy. Can you actually say anything? This is going to be so awkward if you can't. The floor, the floor. However, as I mentioned, I have reviewed the last 2 books in the series, and so I do feel somewhat obligated to review the very last one. I just feel like my channel is always going to be somewhat incomplete without an Imagine Me by Tahereh Mafi review. You guys, a very important prop was just delivered on my doorstep, and I'm honestly so excited to show you. Say hello to my baby. Some people people say that she's not mine. I claim her, so she is. Oh, there's something in my throat. It's like whenever you feel like an ounce of not wellness, now you just think that you have an unnamed virus. But this is her. We're going to be calling her Elizabeth because I'm not comfortable putting her name out there. But isn't she the cutest? Question number 4 is, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? For me, I'm going to be naming solo releases because I can do what I want, and that's law. So my first one is How the King of Elfhame Came to Hate Stories by Holly Black. That's probably not the right title, but when you have long, stupid titles, people get them wrong. Ain't that right, Elizabeth? She's so very unamused by this. But if you don't know, this is a novella that's going to be going with the Folk of the Air series, which is a series that I love and enjoy, even though I'm not sure how I felt about the Queen of Nothing. But yeah, anticipated release. I'm also excited for The Lost Book of White by Cassandra Clare. When that book comes out, I will be there. Actually, I won't be there. I'm not going anywhere. Nope, not I. But if you don't know, that is a sequel to The Red Scrolls of Magic, which I believe is one of my favorite releases of last year. And then lastly, Blood and Honey, which is the sequel to Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin, or the Maladorian. Mandalorian. I'm such a fake Star Wars stan. I'm actually not even a stan. I'm more of a Stan Lee. But oh, rest in peace. Also, we're gonna be saying bye to the baby because she's a distraction. She's a problem. You're a problem. And she kind of stinks and I don't know how to change a diaper. Question number 5. Biggest disappointment. Without a shadow of a doubt, it is Damaged Like Us by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I'm actually planning on making a whole entire video about my dissatisfaction with the Like Us series. It's coming. I started reading the Like Us series right after I finished rereading the Addicted series. I can just honestly say that I went with like a lot of excitement and high expectations, and I feel
we have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Number 6, biggest surprise. For me, that's definitely A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. There's this girl I know that thinks that she's my friend. I'm joking, she's still my friend, I love her. But thinks that she's my friend, that recommended this book to me because we have a mutual love and respect for the Truly Devious series. It's actually my most recent read, and I can still say it's actually my most recent read. And honestly, I have this really bad habit, I guess, of like reading a book and loving it as soon as I finish it, but then reflecting like days later and realizing all its flaws. And that has not happened with this book yet. It was really a diamond in the rough. It was truly a diamond in the rough, a soul saver. It made me kind of miss reading and even miss booktube, so I can just talk about it with you guys. So for sure, it was my biggest surprise and one of my favorite books thus far of 2020. Question 7. Favorite new to you author. So, you know, I really don't believe in guilty pleasure reads. And you may be thinking, why is that relevant? Because if I were to believe in guilty pleasure reads, I would probably associate that term with Penelope Douglas books. Back in January, Penelope Douglas took me to a universe of bliss where I would really just like read her books back to back, be shocked about them for an hour, and then go find another one to read. This year I've read 4 books by her, and I've attempted to read some other ones that I just couldn't get into. But I completed Birthday Girl, which I actually buddy read with Mayana Reads. I also read Credence, which I absolutely love that book. Judge me all you want, but adored it. There was also Punk 57, and lastly Bully, which honestly was not that great. But then again, it was like her first book ever put out, and I had just finished Credence and Punk 57, books that I just found to be phenomenal. So I had already seen like her peak, and then I just went to her bottom. I'm not going to enjoy that, you know? A good comparison is the fact that I read Sister Crows before I read the Grisha trilogy. I was just bound for disappointment. I would definitely suggest looking into some of the subjects and themes that she delves in before picking up one of her novels, because I really just don't want you to experience that shock and perhaps a heart attack. But I think that they're fun, and at its core I feel like that's what reading should be. So I personally really enjoyed her books, and I plan on reading more of them. Number 8, newest fictional crush. My newest fictional crush is actually from a book that I mentioned earlier, and it is Vicious Spencer from Vicious by LJ Shin. Honestly, I don't love him, but there's no one else. If I had to rank all of the men that I read about in 2020, he would be at the top of the list. So yes, I do enjoy his character, but it's almost like we live in Alabama. We are yeehaws. He is the only person there That is not my cousin. I am the last woman on earth. He is the last man. There is no one else. He is no Kel Maresh. He is no Connor Cobalt, my fictional soulmate and my fictional husband. He's not even my fictional boyfriend, and that spot is vacant. Number 9. Newest favorite fictional character. So surprisingly, it's actually Charlie Cobalt from the series. As I mentioned before, I am very disappointed with those books, but I also said in my last question that his dad, Connor Cobalt, was my fictional husband. So with that in mind, in a way, I was kind of bound to love him from the start. But I think that what truly draws me to Charlie Cobalt as a character is the fact that he is so similar to his father, but there are just some things at their core that makes them such different people at the same time. And so it's kind of interesting because sometimes I feel like I'm seeing who Connor Cobalt could have been in a different life. He's just really fun, mainly because he's very morally gray, and so there's just so much debate and get to know about him compared to some of the other main characters in the Like Us series. Talk to literally anyone that has read the Like Us series, and I guarantee you that Charlie Cobalt will probably be one of their favorite parts. Number 10, a book that made you cry. I actually don't really cry while reading. I actually really want to because sometimes I feel tears forming, but it's my body or even my mind just won't allow them to come out. However, there was a book that I did tear up to, and that is Wolf Song by TJ Klune. If I could describe this book in one word, it would definitely be bittersweet. There's just so much sadness yet happiness and hope wrapped up in one novel. And honestly, I can't believe that more people don't stand the series as a whole. I mean, I've only gotten through the first 2 books, but I plan on revisiting soon. I just need to get my life together. Wolf Song was actually my first read of 2020, and I honestly think that it left a very lasting impression on me. It's a book that I genuinely wanted to sit down and cry about, truly, but I cannot. Number 11. A book that made you happy. So the same way that Krista and Becca Ritchie let me down with Damaged Like Us, they also kind of made me really happy with Some Kind of Perfect. I never read this book in the past because I was honestly just not afraid to say goodbye to the main characters or the core 6 in the Addicted series. Especially because do you ever just finish a book series that you have just binged and you're kind of just left wondering about how to live in day-to-day life? What is time? What do you do with it? What else do I read now? Is there really no other books? I'm happy with the ending, but also it wasn't enough. Should I just go read something else now? Number 12. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. So the most beautiful book that I got this year was actually received, and it was actually gifted to me 2 days ago. It is the collector's edition of Throne of Glass. This book is such a beaut. This is the back. This is actually just a case covering. But here's the front of it and the back. I don't know. Front, back. I actually don't know. They're both beautiful though, so who cares? And here's the inside. I mean, honestly, I am just so grateful for some of the people that I have in my life. And the fact that they genuinely listen to me, because I promise you, I only mentioned this book to her once, and she got it for me months later. Not only beautiful because of the cover, but even more so because of the memories and the feelings. Sometimes it's good to have those. Question number 13. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? So, if you guys saw my last video, I actually talked about how I needed to read some more books by Black authors, and some of you were so lovely and actually left me some suggestions in my comment section that I went through and I kind of researched and saw what I thought I would really be into and that I would really connect with and vibe with, you know? So thanks to everyone that left some recommendations for me, and out of those, I got quite a few, so I'm about to name them. Number 1 is I Think I Might Love You by Christina C. Jones. This was actually recommended to me by the lovely BookTuber Deja Store, who I definitely recommend checking out because they are awesome. Number 2 is Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay, and 3 is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. Both of these were recommended to me by the lovely Hannah Banana. Number 4, which is the last book I jotted down based off those recommendations, is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson, which is recommended to me by Bacchus Vines. If I did not mention the book that you recommended me, that does not mean I did not appreciate it. It's just not on my most definitely must read before 2020 is over list, and I could still very well read it in the near future. Other than those books, I have been wanting to read I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver, and I think I'm actually going to finally get to it quite soon. I started it, I believe, a month ago, but I was reading it with an ebook, and although I could highlight and leave little notes on my Kindle, I felt like it was a book that I would love to annotate and physical copy of. I also really want to read The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren because it's just a book that a lot of people were raving about last year, and I honestly really want to get back into reading just nice fluffy contemporaries, and I think that is what I'm looking for. I also have Spend the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. It's another book by a POC, and it's one that I heard is phenomenal. So with that in mind, it's definitely near the top of my list, and I need to get myself a copy of that pretty soon. That is all I have for my mid-year freakout tag. I had more fun doing this tag this time around than I did last year, which is great because last year was also a blast. And I hope that you guys also had a fun time watching it. I plan and promise to make a video next week, and I really hope to see you guys there. Bye, love ya.